Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 196 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 51 Sports Network. Josh Ray joined alongside Nathan Durek as per usual. I don't know if people are viewing it on Twitter. Apparently, we haven't upgraded our premium yet. But for those viewing on the YouTube channel, hello to you. And listening on the audio platforms, hello to you. So, lots to talk about this week. Sorry about the delay. My computer decided to update at the worst possible time because it always does that. But let's get into the things here, starting with the Vancouver Whitecaps, all the pomp and circumstance and the hype surrounding Thomas Muller's debut last Sunday at BC Place. And, well, he came in with a lot of fanfare. Obviously, didn't start, which was expected, but made an impact. But the game itself, this is another one of those games where the Whitecaps should have won.
Yeah, the Whitecaps were up by a goal at halftime, but you got to be honest, that wasn't the greatest first half until about maybe the last 5-10 minutes, where the Whitecaps finally seemed to come alive a little bit. Obviously, Brian White penalty was a beneficiary of a really good run from Jaden Nelson, who was brought down inside the box. Easy penalty, no questions about the call. Brian White, guy can score penalties. Might be worth letting him take a few more.
Yeah, well, that is until Ryan Gauld, whenever
Ryan Gauld
comes back. But yeah, Griffin Dorsey easily clips Jaden Nelson in the box. Clear penalty right from the second you saw it. White beats Jonathan Bond, no mistake. Yeah, but other than that, the Whitecaps really had trouble getting anything going offensively in that first half, except for the final 5 to 10 minutes. Houston did have a couple of chances, but Takaoka stayed alert. And they weren't really the best chances.
That first half, he did very, very well. In fact, other than, unfortunately, a 91st minute goal where Artur beats Takaoka on that near post. Takaoka was screened. He did have bodies in front of him. It also was a wonder shot, but it is one of those ones, you look back and you wish you would have had a second chance at that.
Yeah, and it just also, like, the Whitecaps defenders just froze once, I forgot who it was, just went into the box and found Artur. And they defended well, really well in that second half, as most of the play was on the attacking side on the Houston half.
It was a much better half for the Whitecaps. They were definitely more progressive, moving forward. They were finally starting to string those passing connections to move the ball forward. Once Thomas Mueller did come in around the 60th minute, you saw what he can do in terms of creativity, but also in terms of organization, of him trying to figure out, okay, where is his space? And now getting everyone else around him to all be pushing and moving in the same direction. It was really, really good to see. I thought what was interesting with Mueller was not only what he can do with the ball, but what he does off the ball.
Yeah,
in terms of making the players around him better. And I thought that was just a glimpse, right? It's just a glimpse, but it was nice to see some, for that half hour, some pretty attractive football.
Yeah, and that's why they call him the Rondoider. Like, he's finding spaces for him to create something for himself and his teammates, just looking for those spaces. He's running all around, making tackles, even made a slide tackle. And, man, I wish that goal counted. It was perfect.
It was
just outside
goal.
The box.
It would have been a beautiful debut. But when you take a look at it, the initial ball that's received by White, it's not a lot, but he is offside. It's
his shoulder.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's the right call. To Mueller's credit, he did have a few. It didn't look like malicious. It was more like understanding words with the referee. I don't know if the referee was saying, "Look, I know this would have been your debut, but sorry," But nothing was made of it, and they just kept carrying on. Unfortunately, we're not able to hold on to that win. Artur, beautiful strike.
Yeah, but I still count it in my heart because that was just a perfect Thomas Mueller goal. He finds that space, and he unloads the shot from just outside the box. We've seen him score that type of goal numerous times with Bayern Munich, and oh man, the sound of the building was like among the loudest you'll ever hear it, and just too bad it didn't count.
Sold out lower bowl over 26, just over 26,000 is the number. I think 2631 change or something like that. You felt it. It was I think a beautiful moment for not just the player, but the club as well, to be able to do that, to show that they have that many people, the city, interested in this club right now. Also kind of getting lost in the noise, there was a home debut for Kenji Cabrera. Didn't get as many minutes. He was only on the pitch for about 5 or so, but it was nice to see a new player come up from Peru that the Whitecaps just signed on the wing. We're going to have to wait a little bit more to see kind of what he brings. But again, debuts for 2 players. Oh, Josh, I have no sound on you right now.
Sorry, I accidentally muted.
No, right, there you go.
Let's not forget Kenji Cabrera's debut in MLS, a home debut rather, and he came on like 5 minutes with 5 minutes left in the game. Maybe a little too late, but we'll see what he can do go forward, and maybe he gets more minutes in the next game. I would have liked to see him come on earlier. Maybe if that Muller goal did count, we would have seen him come on earlier.
Maybe.
And it was, it's one thing to watch Thomas Muller on TV all these years, but seeing him do what he does in person goes to show why he was one of the best players in the world for so many years. But man, it just feels like 2 points dropped instead of a point gained, because the Whitecaps could have easily been up 2, 3, 4-0. And even in the first half, Nelson hit the post, Sabby hit the crossbar. Early in the second half, Nelson just runs through the entire Houston right side, but just couldn't get a good shot off.
Unfortunately, at this stage of the season, I believe the Whitecaps, was it 34 games in the schedule, so there's only 8 games left. That supporter shield is getting further and further away. I think that's going to be a tough one. Right now, I think the one thing the Whitecaps really need to do is make sure they hold on to a top 3 spot in the West.
Yeah.
Get that home advantage when it comes to the playoffs, and do that. We know what happened last year after Leagues Cup and how the Whitecaps just kind of fell off a cliff. I think they were winless in 7 heading into the playoffs.
Yep.
You want to make sure that does not happen.
It doesn't. It can't happen again.
It's funny because I had said at the beginning of this season, what I wanted for the Whitecaps was to break that 50-point barrier, and they have gotten so close to it, and now they're just kind of hovering there, and I'm really hoping I didn't jinx it.
Yeah, let's bring up the standings, actually. Let me share the screen. Yeah, here's the Western Conference standings.
Yeah.
It's 1 point behind Minnesota, third place, 5 points ahead of Seattle, 6 points behind San Diego.
Now, here's the thing: is the Whitecaps have a game in hand against both Minnesota and San Diego, so that does cut. Theoretically, that does cut San Diego's lead in half. But with the way they're playing, you got to think that this is not a club that's going to be dropping points.
Yeah, I mean, they were down 1-0 in the second half to San Jose, and then 2 goals in the final, like 6 minutes or whatever. They got the win. Also should mention Bilal Halbouni got his first MLS start of the season against Houston. There was rust there, some poor passes, got a yellow card, but in the second half, he slowly got better.
It took him a bit. The passing was hesitant, but it got better. It is rust. It's not only the first start, but it's the first time you're playing competitively with your center back partner, right? So you're having to kind of learn that relationship again, a little bit. So I'm happy he got the start. I hope he gets more. we'll have to wait and see because as we'll be talking, there could be some more incoming players before the transfer deadline, which is coming up in
Yeah,
two
in two
days.
days. Yeah. Um, got a comment here from our good friend Edgar of News Across the Galaxy. Greetings from LA. Much love, guys. We're cheering for the Caps. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
I mean, when you have Thomas Muller on your team, rival fans could even cheer for a guy like that.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those players you just want to see in the league. You get the opportunity of him visiting your city when he's playing. I mean, there's been players on other teams that when they come up to Vancouver, we feel the same way. You're not just there watching the match, but you're also watching, okay, what can this player do? Because I might never get to see them again.
Yeah, but here in Vancouver, he's not just a visitor. He's part of the home team. And heading into BC plays on the weekend, I think I saw at least 20 Muller jerseys.
Already, I know, right? Do you know what's one jersey I saw at the game that really surprised me? Owusu.
Oh, I did see that too.
Yeah, I was like, that's a blast from the past. You know what? He's a guy that I used to see just walking around town.
Yeah.
All right. We've got St. Louis
Norway
coming up next.
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Talk about San Diego being like so good at their expansion year. That was St. Louis in 2023.
It was, but they have definitely fallen off the cliff. They're sitting in 14th in the Western Conference right now. Only 5 wins out of their 26 games. It's going to be tough. I mean, we've talked about whether or not the LA Galaxy can get out of that basement in the Western Conference. It's going to be tough to catch up even to someone like San Diego. There's still 5 points in between those two.
Yeah. St. Louis aren't last. That's Montreal, Atlanta, and DC United, and the Galaxy. Oh, the Galaxy are still last, but St. Louis is in the bottom 5 of the MLS, and 5, 6, and 15, just 29 goals for, 44 against, and from what I last saw, the 44 goals against was among the top 5 in goals conceded in the league. They are leaky.
You know what? It might be top 5 in the West.
Yeah, but it's around that area.
Yeah, I think there's a few more once you put in both conferences. But yeah, this is a team that just hasn't gotten it together. They had a great first year and then kind of just fell off a cliff.
Yeah, I wonder if that could be the case for San Diego too going forward. But on St. Louis, over the weekend, they lost in Chicago 3-2. And I'm just trying to see their last win, July 13th against Portland.
There you go. So it's going to be a month and a half for them, pretty much, when they come to BC Place. This, again, I think we say this, but at this stage of the season, the Whitecaps have to be targeting every game as games they need to win. Not only to solidify their position in the Western Conference, but if they want to make that game in hand count against the top 2 teams in the West. If they want to move into one of the top 2 spots, they need to make that count.
Yeah, and games in hand don't matter unless you
do something with
take advantage.
Yep.
Of them. The Whitecaps had games in hand for top 4 late last season, and they ended up finishing 8th.
Yeah.
There are a lot of notable players on St. Louis, including former Whitecap Simon Becher. Roman Berkey, the former Dortmund goalkeeper, who Thomas Muller is very familiar with. And St. Louis also recently acquired Jeon Sang-bin, the Korean forward from Minnesota.
Okay.
For a bunch of funny money. Yeah. So there's some notable names on St. Louis here. So Joao Klaus, but he hasn't really been the Joao Klaus of 2 years ago. Same with Edward Loven.
No, not at all.
It's just this is a team that's very leaky at the back. And the Whitecaps need to take advantage of that.
I think when you take a look at MLS teams in particular, and goalkeeping frailty, it's not goalkeeping frailty; it's defensive frailty. I think Berkey's still
decent, but
he's good. But it's your return on investment in trying to get a better goalkeeper is never as good as improving your back line. And I think that's what the problem is the back line. I haven't seen kind of like the number of shots that goalkeepers have. I mean, we could definitely take a look, but my guess is Roman Berkey has got to be up there in the number of shots that he's faced. And at that point, it's just, you face more shots, more goals are going to go in, right? You can't be Superman.
And the big reason why Yohei Takaoka is still the league leader in clean sheets is the defense in front of him. But that's not disregarding Takaoka as well. He's been solid all season.
He's been much better. His save percentage has definitely gone up, but you are right in the fact that he has not faced near as many shots, and that's exactly it, right? You talk about you want to improve your goals against, you improve your back line.
And it's also worth mentioning that St. Louis is on an interim coach because they hired Olaf Melberg in the fall to replace Bradley Carnell. Only went 3-5-9 in all competitions, and they fired him after 17 games. And this David Critchley guy is currently the interim.
So just to give you an idea, I just pulled it up right now with how many shots on target. St. Louis is tied for the second most shots on target against them.
There we go.
They're tied with Colorado Rapids, and they're only literally one shot behind Charlotte, who has the lead. So
that's just surprising because Charlotte last year was such a good defensive team, and Kalina was one of the best goalkeepers in MLS, and this year that's out the window.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, St. Louis, for the number of shots that they're facing, Roman Berkey is not doing that bad. It's a defensive issue, not a goalkeeper issue.
Yeah, and these two teams last met in May or June, I believe, and it was a soggy, intense, just all around 0-0 draw at City Park in St. Louis. That because the pitch was wet after a rainstorm and many other reasons. But St. Louis, they were here last year, and Brian White scored a hat trick. And the year before, I believe the Whitecaps also beat St. Louis when they were here. And Brian White scored in that game.
There you go.
So Brian White loves to play St. Louis. And if you're a betting man, take the money line on him scoring.
There you go. Before we move on to the transfer window, let's talk about Ali Ahmed. Finally back from injury, got on the field, which was really nice to see. First minutes since the Gold Cup. That's how long he's been out.
Yeah, and we were saying in the press box, this guy was sorely missed for his tenacity.
I mean, no discredit to Nelson and Sabi, but when you're playing the same wingers game in and game out, I mean, obviously you just need a bit of a break. Having Ali Ahmed be able to come into that and play. Kenji Cabrera is going to fit into that mold as well. It now gives Sorensen some options that he can give people rests when they need it, which is really nice to see. All right, let's move on. We've got a couple of signings, not to announce, but
they, according to people who know better than us, they're pretty much close to being done. The first, I believe Sacha Tagliori, I think that's how you say it, reported this first out of Belgium, who's very reliable, by the way. Emmanuel Vez has also confirmed this. Jodrik Poupe, I believe that's how you say his name, a defender, left-footed defender from Dender of the Belgian League, which is the same club Luc de Forgeron has joined on loan from Fulham to, is very close to signing with the Vancouver Whitecaps, and he is a very good ball-playing center back, but can also play left back. So think of a left-footed Tristan Blackman, in a way, except Blackman can't play left back.
Yeah. Not only is he a good player for the team, he's also the captain of Dender.
Yeah, and he is on his way out. And I'm just going to take a look at his Football Reference.
I took a look at it earlier. This is a guy that can pass. He moves the ball forward.
The passing stats are like
in the 98th percentile, right? Like in terms of the Belgian league, this guy is class when it comes to passing. And the Belgian league, Netherlands, things like that, you've got to look as kind of those lowland countries as comparables to MLS.
Yep. Right.
The fact that he's left-footed, the fact that he can play on the left if required. He is also compared. You take a look at his comparisons. He's compared a lot to defensive midfielders. This is a guy, yeah, he's going to move the ball and he's going to get the ball
pass
forward.
completion though. I guess that also has to do with his teammates receiving passes and all that. Need a bit more context here, but other than that, the passing.
Yeah, we do. What I'm looking at is the progressive passes, and you want defenders that move the ball, further than those 10 yards, and gets them up.
Yeah, he's played for a number of teams. Kortrijk, in Belgium, Almere City, and Liers, and Dender the past few years.
Yeah, and I think Dender is, I want to say, is relatively new to the top flight.
Yeah, they are. I'm checking to see where they finished last year.
Another new signing also coming is by way of Germany. Thank you, Axel Schuster. And I believe his name is, let me just pull it up here, Sean Lau. Sean Lau is a new player that's coming from let me just see, Hamburger. Just recently promoted to the Bundesliga. Again, this is another captain for his home club. Very much a kind of cut out of the mold center back. The report on him is that he doesn't have the speed, but he has the intelligence. Think of Renko Veselinovic, where he is in the right place at the right time to make the defensive action. He can get the ball forward, but he is not a player that's going to really play outside of his zone, which is fine. If he can do better than, say, a Bjorn Inge Utvik, who, again, was supposed to be a player.
Also play defensive midfielder, by the way.
We'll have to wait and see. Liam McKenzie, Academy product, has also signed his first MLS contract. This is a guy that had signed a couple of short-term contracts with the Whitecaps. He has now signed a full MLS contract, goes through to the end of, I believe, 2028 with option for 2029.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Which is great. Comox kid that's joining the Surrey kid in Bilal.
Yeah, and for Sebastian Schonlau also is Hamburger's captain. And Hamburg, one of the bigger clubs in Germany, though I believe they spent the last few years in the second tier.
They did. They just got promoted back up this year.
Yeah, they just got promoted.
Yeah.
And it's reported that he's should be flying to Vancouver as soon as today for medicals tomorrow. So Thomas Muller is also familiar with this guy.
Yeah, there you go.
So there's a German friend for Thomas Muller, and very similar to Renko. Good at defending, good to be smart defending, but not a fast guy. Neither is Renko. Anyway, so
no, but what made Renko good was his height, aerial clearances in general. He was always in like the top two in the league, usually him and Michael Boxall. That's what made Renko very, very good. Renko has grown in his distribution skills as well. Obviously, having someone alongside him like Tristan Blackman, who was known for that, does help. But yeah, this is another guy, again, that gives options. One thing that's interesting with this is, and this is reported by our friend Har of the Daily Hive, is there is an agreement where Bjorn Inge Utvik might be leaving the club as well, back to his previous club in Norway, Sarpsborg.
08.
Yeah, would be 250,000 in GAM, which the Whitecaps would receive for that deal, which when you think that the Whitecaps got Utvik on a free, is a tiny piece of business.
Yeah, and that clears almost $600K in wages.
Yeah.
So
the other thing that's nice is that if these two deals go through, that would be the end of the number of international spots that the Whitecaps have for this year. But next year they would run into a problem with Veselinovic coming back, off his long-term injury. So they would need a spot. This clears up that one spot that they would need.
Yeah, and horror reports that Utvik is leaving this window.
Yeah.
So the gas against Forge and the last game against Houston, that's the last we saw of him. Had a few moments like, scoring the Canadian Championship winning penalty last year, that last minute winner against Valor, but was just inconsistent, was never really kept up with the pace of MLS.
I think that is the biggest thing. I look at that and I look at Florian Jungwirth.
Yeah.
Jungwirth in his first year with the Whitecaps did very, very well. The second year you saw, the pace was a precipitous drop. Utvik was already on that, that end of career trajectory where he just couldn't keep up to the game. The brain worked. He understood the game. He read the game. He knew where he was supposed to be. He just was a step behind in getting there.
Yeah, Utvik, I believe, is almost 30. He came in his prime, so I think signs of decline have already started. So all the best to him. He goes back to his home country, to the club where he spent several years with. And it's best for both parties to part ways, especially with these two defenders coming in. So Pupe and Seanlo reportedly set to join the Vancouver Whitecaps. Two players from Europe, as I had speculated in the past, and two captains. So Whitecaps get more veteran leadership.
Interesting thing is when Utvik came, he was a captain of Sarpsborg as well. So we'll have to wait and see how much that actually matters.
So I'm just looking at the Whitecaps transfer window as a whole. Kenji Cabrera, it comes in. Yeah. Pupe and Sean Lowe comes in, and of course Thomas Muller out, Vite and Utvik.
Also, you can talk about the academy and Liam Miller making the jump
Liam
up.
McKenzie comes in internally.
This has to be one of the busiest summer transfer windows in my mind for the Whitecaps.
Yeah, this beats 2023 when they brought in Adekube and Larea.
Yeah.
And I should forget, they also mutually parted ways with Damir Krylak, who decided to retire.
That's true too. That's right.
And
it's one of those windows where if you're going to give a letter grade, it's kind of a remains to be seen, because we need to know how good these defenders are going to be. But right now, just based on Mueller alone, you have to go at least B+.
Right. And all these moves, even the pending ones, good piece of business. Like two captains from Belgium, one from Germany, to stabilize the back line.
I feel like I'm even being harsh saying B+.
Yeah, that's good. One of Peru's brightest prospects.
Yeah.
Also pretty savvy. And then Thomas freaking Muller. I don't know. Axel Schuster and his crew are cooking.
Yeah. You pair that off with what we reported last week. That was kind of going around with Jeff Mallett saying that they're looking for partners, not necessarily to sell the club. I think right now, all of a sudden, in the last week, 2 weeks, there's been a lot of fantastic news in terms of the Whitecaps and the direction that they're headed.
Yeah, the only thing that would have capped this past few weeks off was a win over the weekend.
Yeah.
But
I thought you were going to say stadium deal, but yeah, I would have taken the win for sure.
It's weird because Whitecaps fans, Whitecaps media are not used to getting this much great to good news at once.
No, not at all. Especially when you think of like what we're accustomed to a pragmatic progression from Axel Schuster, where there is a plan in place, but it's a 5-year plan, 5-year plans moving forward to get all of this done at once. And let's be honest, Thomas Mueller was not one that I don't even think Axel or Quinn or any of them expected. It just kind of, the situation fell in their laps and they took advantage of it. So that moves their project along much quicker. And, us in media and fans and everyone else who who has eyeballs on the Whitecaps get to benefit.
Yeah, more eyes on the Whitecaps now, especially because of Mueller. And there was eyes all season, given the Whitecaps were the way they're playing. But yeah, there's even more eyes right now. And Axel Schuster and Quinn Thompson are making some really savvy signings, and hopefully these guys work out and give the Whitecaps the extra boost for trophies.
Absolutely.
So, some Canadian men's national team news surrounding MLS. Joel Waterman, I felt like the writing was on the wall that he was going to leave CF Montreal. He's been traded from Montreal to Chicago for 500K in GAM plus another 100K in add-ons. Chicago is a team that is looking to fight for a playoff spot as well, even the top
Yeah.
spot.
Again, another player in his prime. I believe Waterman's 28 or 29. There was more than a
Yeah,
few people
Richmond
wondering
boy.
if the Whitecaps might take a run at him with their defensive issues. Waterman always seems like the guy looking in from outside. He's the almost guy.
He's a like with Canada, he's a deaf guy.
Yeah,
Montreal, he starts more, but on the Chicago team that is better, obviously, I think he's still a deaf guy.
I think it's a good move for him, especially just before the World Cup. He's going to get to play obviously on a team that's doing much better right now. I hate to say it because I love to see Canadian players playing on Canadian teams, but I also kind of want everyone to get out of the dumpster fire that is Montreal.
Yeah, and we've talked endlessly about how much of a dumpster fire Montreal is, and Chicago is ninth in the Eastern Conference. They're tied with the New York Red Bulls. So as the playoffs started today, they'd be the last play-in seed,
Yeah,
but they're not too far behind the likes of Charlotte and New York City. So they could creep into the top seven.
if I remember right, this is also better from Chicago because they've been a team that struggled to get into the playoffs, haven't they?
Yeah, like they haven't made the playoffs in I don't know how long.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so it's not just me; it's memory.
So yeah, this is good for Waterman too. Like he really needs to get out of Montreal, and it was clear the guy needed a change of scenery. And he's a decent deaf guy, but the hot hat, the yellows and red cards, that's always been an issue for him.
Yeah. Not the only Canadian that could be potentially moving. Tani Oluwasi of Minnesota, right? Yes. It looks like Villarreal might be coming back with an improved offer, reported by Tom Bogart, possibly
Just this
north
morning.
of 7.5 million.
Yeah, and Oluwase has impressed with Minnesota and the Canadian men's national team.
Mm-hmm.
Villarreal are initially bid like 4 million,
I believe.
but Minnesota turned it down, and Bogart's reporting it's around 7.5, and it looks like things are moving in the right direction with this.
Let's be honest, it would be a fantastic move for Oluwasi. Villarreal is a team that's competing in
Yeah,
European competition.
and Tajon Buchanan
Yep,
just signed permanently there, so he gets
absolutely.
a familiar
So,
face.
honestly, I think he's doing a fantastic job in Minnesota. I think he would continue to do a fantastic job in Minnesota. But at this stage in his career, with how young he is, if he wants to make that leap, it's a great time to do it. It's a great club to do it with.
Yeah, he gets to play in the Champions League, gets to play in the Liga.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is huge for
It's
Oluwase,
one of
who's
those
been a
moves
rising
where you would
star
have
for the
to
past
kind of take it
year in the
by the
Canadian
horns
step.
and go with it. Um, it's not, he can't rest on his laurels, but it's one that I hope that he takes, or that he is given the opportunity to take that challenge. I think it would be very, very good for him.
Yeah, and this is all big, heading into the World Cup next year, and chance for Oluwase to improve his stock for the national team and globally.
All right, let's talk Rise FC. They were in battle against Toronto, the leaders of the Northern Super League on the weekend. Huge 1-0 win for the Rise. Back-to-back wins for them as well.
Yeah, and this is the biggest win of the season for
Absolutely.
Vancouver Rise, and it wasn't easy at all. Jasmine Spencer sent off before halftime for two yellows. The second one, clear second yellow, no ball, late, clip the Toronto player. I don't know why she was arguing,
She was
um,
arguing because she tried to pull out of it,
but
but
it's too late.
it was too late. Yeah.
But down to 10. No, the Rise, they held their own, and Jessica DeFilippo scores just after halftime.
It was like
Great
25
transition goal.
seconds after halftime, I think. It was something crazy like that. A beautiful goal.
Yeah, and Toronto just fell asleep defending and forgot about DeFilippo.
It was the pass. And I'm trying to remember who did the pass. I want to say it was Longhurst.
Yeah, I
But
think it
to
was.
play DiFilippo into space like that, fantastic. Now, you got to admit, the second half was all Toronto.
It
McCaslin
was.
was phenomenal. I think there was a couple of crossbars in there, including one
There
in
was.
stoppage time. McCaslin saved in the 96th minute to secure the win. I think is every bit as important as the goal DiFilippo scored.
And they did it without Quinn, who had to be taken off for concussion protocol after
Yeah.
they collided, like pretty scary collision, and they looked dazed after it. So
This is also, you got to remember the last Ontario trip that the Rides did, where they played Toronto and Ottawa back to back. Same trip where Quinn and Nikki Stanton went down and were out for a number of matches. To have it happen to Quinn again is horrible.
yeah, and they also won this without Shannon Waller, their captain, who's been out with a knee injury, which makes things
Yeah,
even more impressive from the
not
back
only
line.
captain, but player who's played the most minutes on the team, I believe.
Yeah, but and good on the likes of DeFilippo and Ward for trying to get the attack going,
Yeah,
even despite down to 10 men. And the Rise have always you know preached that the transition is part of their game, and they showed that with DeFilippo's goal.
so against Toronto, this now moves the Rise to within 9 points of Toronto, who is at the top of the table. AFC Toronto still played 2 matches more than any other team in the league. So while they are leading that, it's a bit of a skewed table right now, just because you play those 2 games in hand. Who knows where everyone else is? They play Ottawa Rapid next, I believe,
On
coming
the
up
weekend, yeah, in
on the
Ottawa
weekend. Ottawa
on
Rapids
Saturday.
sitting in second right now. So again, they can do damage to the Ontario teams.
Yeah, and ever since the bye week, I think just a couple of draws and a few wins.
Yep.
Not a single loss
Um,
so far.
Also, Okamoto, I believe this was her first start
It was.
for the Rise. We have been told that there is another signing incoming.
They actually have made another
It's
signing,
done, right?
and it's done. A
Yeah.
Canadian from she played in just trying to bring it up here, but she is Canadian and has played in the American university setup, but spent her career in Denmark up to this point. Just bring it up here on their social media, just the name across. Oh yeah, Anna Bout, a midfielder from oh yeah, from Odense Bold Club Q. 2 goals and 7 assists with them in 24 matches. Alumni of the University of Pittsburgh, and she is from Cambridge, Ontario.
There you go.
So that's some more midfield help for the Rise, and especially with Quinn's injury, this couldn't have come at a better time, honestly.
Yeah.
And yeah, 24 years old, some international experience, and another good signing for the Rise, it seems. And also, the Rise have partnered with Fitness World Canada as part of their community partnership. Fitness World being a local gym here in Vancouver, which I'm sure some of you have been to.
There you go.
All right. Moving to the other Vancouver team, the one in the CPL. I think this too bad we couldn't watch this live because we were at the Whitecaps game.
Yeah.
Though Alexandre Gongiruzic and Sam Rowan and Simon Fudge had that on their devices, so we got to see glimpses of this. I think this might have been the best CPL game ever, and this game literally had everything. Like missed shots, bad defending, poor code keeping, bangers, goals disallowed, like you name it. If this was your first CPL game to watch, then wow, what a game. I don't think anything will top this. So 5-4 score between Cavalry and Vancouver at Spruce Meadows. Vancouver gave up 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, all a minute apart from each other. I don't know what happened on this first goal. Like, go to Intigny, the corner kick. I think there was miscommunication between the defenders and Callum Irving, and somehow just squeaked in. And then the second goal, Tobias Wierczewski, the Golden Boot winner last year, and though he had to struggle with injuries this year, scores just outside the box to beat Callum Irving after a pretty poor giveaway by one of the Vancouver defenders. And then Nicholas Mosquito, the former Whitecap, gets Vancouver on the board with a penalty kick, which Cavalry weren't too happy about, but it was a clear penalty. And then another former Vancouver Whitecap gets on the board. Remember Michael Baldissimo, former Whitecaps Academy product, got one through a screen, Callum Irving. It looked like it deflected off a Cavalry defender, but they credited it to Baldissimo.
There you go.
Yeah, and this things just got more bonkers in the second half. Mbonge gets Vancouver within one. And then, Cavalry also had a free kick disallowed for I don't know why. The commentators didn't know why either. It goes to show why the CPL needs VAR. But Mikhail Germismenkov also put Cavalry in front after some poor defending from Vancouver in the 88th minute. And then on the transition, Emmerich Fotzing, stoppage time, ties the game. It looked to be over, right? And then set piece again. Dan Klump, the two-time defender of the year in the CPL, the best defender in the CPL, gets his head on it with just less than a minute to go. And Callum Irving was late to get to his post. Like, really late. Looked very hesitant. And that would turn out to be the winning goal. So, yeah, that game was just... that game was on whatever drug you can think of.
You know what? It's definitely one for the neutral. I don't think either team could be very happy with their defensive ability.
Yeah, defense went out the window.
Yeah,
in this game. Same with goalkeeping.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely one for the neutrals.
Yeah, and Vancouver has been part of like 2 classics this season, but have been on the losing end of them. There was that bonkers game on the island a couple months ago, I believe, or a month ago.
That's right.
Yeah, and big for Cavalry, who I believe they maintain third place in the CPL.
All right. It is
all right. Over to Europe with the Premier League.
In Europe, Premier League has now started. Chelsea, not the start.
Not the start Chelsea wanted. A frustrating opening day at Stamford Bridge to Crystal Palace, who still are a very good team. Beat City in the FA Cup and Liverpool in the Community Shield. But Chelsea didn't do themselves any favors with their slow, rusty, sluggish attack, which we saw a lot last year. Palace and their low block was hard to break down. Nicole Palmer and Enzo Fernandez couldn't really create anything. They were just poor. Gittins, it goes to show why he's still raw. He's got the speed, but, the offense, the flair still needs to be shown more. Pedro Neto was okay. He was trying to find Joao Pedro all game, but he could get it on his head. The one that did go on his head just went over the bar. And could have been worse. Eze, who is pretty much set to join Tottenham Hotspur, scores a great free kick, but VAR ruled it out because Mark Gay, who seems like he will join Liverpool before the window closes, pushed Moises Caicedo into the wall. I thought that was harsh, but looking on the replay, yeah. Gay pretty much just shoved Caicedo into the wall.
Yep.
Caicedo got better as the game went on. Didn't have the best first half. Second half, things were starting to get better, especially with William Esteval off the bench. He looked very lively. Though I thought there was this one point in the game where he should have taken it on the one time instead of taking the shot. He did take the shot, but it just went high. And Liam Delap also looked decent off the bench, but didn't really get the best shots off. Andre Santos had a good chance to win it like at the last second, but he skied it over the bar with his one-time shot. Scores that for Strasbourg, but fortunately still a lot to learn playing for Chelsea. Robert Sanchez kept Chelsea in the game with his big saves, but his passing is still an issue, as many of them just went out of bounds. So, yeah, frustrating. 0-0 draw, not what Chelsea wanted, but people really need to calm down on social media because people like to overreact, and it's just one game. Just the opening day. Does not tell the full story of the season at all. Maresca wants a new center back, especially with Colwell out. Tosin didn't even play the game against Palace because he had a minor tweak at training and they didn't want to risk it. So get another center back. I don't know why Chelsea aren't interested in Gay. They should just try to hijack Liverpool, bring the combo boy home. I know he only wants Liverpool, but at least inquire, you know? Yeah. There's also talked about Antoine Silva of Benfica, 21 years old defender. That's big. Fits what Maresca would like. So I'd like to see a new center back in this window, as well as Maresca. So the sporting directors, it's been briefed that, we're backing Maresca because he won in the Conference League and the Club World Cup. So back him. Bayern Munich have inquired to Manchester United about Alejandro Garnacho, but he only wants Chelsea. He told Bayern Munich no. And he's just sitting, waiting around, not playing matches until the deal's done. Fabrizio Romano says talks are ongoing.
Man, if I was Garnacho, I would be interested in Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I don't know why, but he only really wants Chelsea.
All right.
Sure, I like the commitment, but
yeah.
I just don't like the whole attitude. We'll talk about this more with Isak of sitting out. And let's say, like he posts on social media, Chelsea or I don't play competitive football for months, which sounds very entitled.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on him vaping in the dressing room. I don't know why, but that for the sporting directors in Maresca, that's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
That alone would be like, yeah, no, we'll sign someone else.
Yeah, if you're a captain of that team, that's the guy you come up and just rip it out of their mouth.
Yeah, maybe if he does join Chelsea and he starts vaping in the Chelsea dressing room, hope Reece James does that.
Yeah.
So talks are ongoing with Garnacho. So it's inevitable, unfortunately. And Fabrizio Romano says the Xavi Simons deal is 85% happening. As Leipzig really want Nkunku, but Bayern Munich have already agreed on personal terms. Chelsea want him to be sold and not loaned out. And we'll see. It's only a matter of time, so tic-tac. It's going to happen. I just feel it. And Nicholas Jackson seems like he will leave the club this week. Aston Villa is pushing for a loan with a buy obligation and a £10 million loan fee. I take that.
That would be phenomenal for Villa.
Yeah, I take that. So we'll see what happens with that. And a couple of actual news. Vega has been sold to Villarreal, 29 million euros, right around more or less what they bought him for from Sporting. So
Villarreal's doing business.
Yeah, first Buchanan, Oluwase, and now Vega. Shame it didn't work out because he wanted to play center back. He has the tools to be good. But I guess he's not going to get minutes at Chelsea where he wants. Somewhere else is better.
Right.
And then this is just weird. This morning, Fofana deletes nearly every Chelsea-related post on his Instagram except his Welcome to Chelsea video. Fans are freaking out. Fans are already crucifying him. I don't know what this means. Maybe he just wants a clean slate on his social media. He's very active there, by the way. Also, Does this mean he's leaving the club? I doubt it, because he's going to want him after his injury issues. He's made it clear that he wants to stay, so I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a nothing burger, maybe it's something. And finally, shirt sponsor. Chelsea still don't have one, and it still looks weird to me. Though the new kit looks good, but it still looks weird without a sponsor. Apparently, 3 big companies are down on the final list, and the favorite, Riyadh Air. They said one of them was a Middle Eastern company. I wouldn't be surprised if Riyadh Air ends up being on the Chelsea shirt. So
as long
West
as
Ham
it's
away
not
next.
another sports betting group.
Yeah, better than sports betting.
Or
So West Ham away next at the London Stadium, who were terrible against Sunderland. So let's just get back to winning ways. So Tottenham, big win over Burnley. Richarlison, early goal of the year contender.
Yeah, great win. Yes, it's Burnley. It was expected to win. Burnley obviously is a favorite to be a relegation candidate, but Tottenham got busy right away. Richarlison, 10th minute in, great ball in from Kudus. The pairing between those two is starting to be shown. Richarlison's also getting to play, and it was his favorite number 9 role, so it was good to see that as well. Richarlison adds a second in the 60th minute, which is candidate for goal of the year already. Again, Kudus plays in. It's a little bit behind Richarlison, so he has to adjust his run to make space. Intelligent from the player, and to take that one time off the volley like that was just Richarlison in this game anyway was playing with comfort, and it was really, really nice to see. The 2 goals already is half of the 4 Premier League goals that he scored last year. He did score 5 goals in all competitions, but in the Premier League, also, obviously, he found difficulty in having game time. Really nice to see this. And then Johnson adds in another one in the 67th minute, a play that was started by Richarlison, who was coming back deep, played the ball into Sarr, who was in that number 10 role. Obviously, he plays in Johnson, and a beautiful goal to start his account for this season. Johnson, who I believe had 18 in all competitions last year, was by far Hotspur their number 1 goal scorer of last season. So nice to see him getting started as well. We also saw a use of one of the new rules for the Premier League this season. The rule that goalkeepers are not allowed to hold the ball in their hands for more than 8 seconds. If you do, the referee has to start a countdown, I believe, at the 5th second to give goalkeepers a bit of an opportunity. But if it does get to 8, it is an automatic corner for the opposite side. And we did see that after Burnley's goalkeeper held the ball for actually 14 seconds, but the count was started a little bit late. And Spurs get a corner of the deal. Obviously, nothing happens out of the corner, but it is a rule that we will see throughout this.
I like the sound of it, so goalkeepers won't waste time.
Get the ball moving, right? I am totally fine with that. Other than transfers, it looks like a deal in principle is done for Ize. It's going to be around £60 million.
It is so funny that Arsenal were after him all summer, and then Tottenham just comes in. It is so funny.
This is a player that Tottenham almost signed this time last year, but never didn't materialize. Now, we do know that there was, I believe, a release clause for about $60 million. Crystal Palace also had revealed that the expiry date on that release clause was done. Tottenham felt they could get the deal done anyway for a lower fee. It looks like it's done. Now, the interesting thing is Glasner has come out saying that both Ize and Gay are going to be registered for Europa Conference. And he is saying they will play in the first game, which is the qualifying round, the 3rd qualifying round, I believe, that is coming up here right away.
Yeah.
Now, the nice thing about this is in European competition, UEFA has ruled that if you have played in a qualifying round, that does not matter in being registered for the tournament proper. So as long as Spurs can get this done before September 1st, obviously they need to get it done before September 1st, he will be totally free to be registered for Champions League. So
Yeah.
don't worry. The one thing I also like is Izzy has not gone on strike. He's playing for the club that he is registered for right now. He's doing what you would expect for a player of his club. Obviously, we do know that he wants to move. A deal, we do know that terms have pretty much already been agreed with the player. It's just a matter of getting Crystal Palace on board. Doesn't look like there's going to be a problem with that. It's just a matter of getting it done. Apparently, Danny Levy has made this the priority. The goal is the next 48 hours. Knowing how close we are to the end of the transfer window, it could take a little bit more than that. I wouldn't be surprised if we're still a week away, but things are moving. Now, the one deal that looks like it is dead in the water is for Manchester City's Savino. Manchester City brought in Savino last year for around 30 million. The guy got one goal, and apparently that means that they now want 90 million for him. So that's a very expensive goal that he got last year. Tottenham is not paying that. There's no chance in hell. They're looking at other players. Some interesting names that they're looking up. Morgan Rogers. Rogers, who just won the PFA Young Player of the Year with Aston Villa. Interesting look. They're also looking at Monaco star Magnus
Akiloche? I don't know.
Yeah, possible 47, 48 million pound deal there. Other name that's also been popping up, again, a guy that's been rumored with Chelsea, amongst others, in the Premier League, is Atalanta star Ademola Lookman.
Yep.
We know Lookman wants to leave. He has already been publicly stated that he wants to leave. He doesn't want to stay with the club, with Atalanta this year. So it'll be interesting to see how serious Tottenham's look is with him as well. Other than that, a couple of internal deals. Christian Romero has signed a new long-term contract, goes until the end of the 2028-29 season. We know that he has also been made captain, so I think this is fantastic. Any Atletico Madrid rumors or anything you hear, that's done. Also, Jed Spence has signed a brand new long-term contract. This comes after he had just signed a brand new contract last year.
Yeah.
But with how important he has now become in the squad, signing him to a new long-term contract that reflects the importance of Spence in the squad, great look. I'm very, very happy with it. Now get Izzy done, and then let's start looking at possibly another center back. It would be nice. We'll have to wait and see.
And transfer window is still on until early September, as you know, the Premier League is now underway. Speaking of transfers, there's rumors that Jamie Vardy, still without a club, could reunite with his former Leicester manager. That they won the Premier League together in 2016. Oh no, not
different manager,
different manager. Who was with Vardy for many years at Leicester. Brendan Rodgers, they could reunite at Celtic.
Jamie Vardy's 38 years old now. The guy is still a fighter. Honestly, this is a move that suits both sides. Vardy needs a club. Celtic need a striker. They need a striker. And to have someone in the mold of Jamie Vardy, get it done. It makes sense. Get it done.
Just to reunite Rodgers and Vardy.
Yeah.
Very good thing.
But it's not only that, but they need a player in this mold.
Yeah, I think they sold Füllkrug, that German striker, to West Ham not too long ago. So they need a striker at Celtic.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, Morgan Rogers named the Young Player of the Year for the PFA. And no surprise, Mohamed Salah wins the PFA Men's Footballer of the Year. No
surprise at all. One interesting exclusion who did not come to the award celebration is, Newcastle's Alexandra Isak.
Yep. This saga is continuing to go on. He posted this statement on Instagram saying that when promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now. That's on his Instagram story. And then Newcastle themselves put a statement on their website saying they're disappointed that Isak is remains under contract and he pretty much can't leave.
Well, they
Just like
basically said he is a part of the family and all that stuff. They want to reintegrate him into the family. I don't know how many times they said that word.
family.
I don't like how both sides are handling this.
Yeah.
Isak is under contract. I get you want to move, but you are under contract. Do your job.
Yeah, at least Shabby
Do your
Simmons
job.
is
You
training
can,
and playing for
yeah.
Leipzig.
Like I'm sorry about that.
But
Or
even though
saying
he
you have an
wants out.
injury and then going and training with your old team. No, yeah, you can want a move and still do your job. Two of those things can happen. Harry Kane did it. He still played with Tottenham for another year, even though he believed he had a gentleman's agreement. He got the job done. End of story. Newcastle, you're not a family. You're a business.
Yeah.
Shut up. You're not a business. Players are your employees. Don't be anything else you're not.
You know, it's a red flag when a company, any company of any size, says the word family.
We're a family. No, you're not.
If anyone's worked in the corporate world, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, Isak should just maybe under the contract and just wait. Stay fit until.
Look at Eze. Look at Gay.
Look at Simmons.
Yeah, they're still
Simmons
playing.
is set to play
Yes,
against.
they want moves. Yes, the moves are in progress, but they're doing the job that they're hired to do.
Yeah, and they're just
The way
staying.
I see it is, if you refuse or if you go on like that, they shouldn't have to pay you.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have to pay you. You are not showing up. You are not honoring the terms of your current contract. Fine, we don't pay you.
yeah, and so players should also know, just like us fans, deals can collapse at any time.
Yeah.
So, someone like Eze, Gay, or Simmons, they're playing for their current clubs until it's done.
That's it,
So
right?
they're just waiting. They're just, trying to keep themselves busy until it happens. And for Isak, maybe he should have done the same instead of sulking to go to Liverpool.
I think he's a fantastic striker.
Yeah, one of the best
I
in the
think
world.
I think he would make any team better, but when players act like this, it makes me not want them on my team.
That's also me with Garnacho.
Yeah.
So God, at least Newcastle are actually signing players now, because all summer they were hardly doing anything.
They've brought in what, 2 or 3 over the last couple of weeks.
Yep. So that's something, and this just makes the whole thing awkward. Yeah, like just he's actually showing up to training, then in the games, it's awkward now.
Yeah. The one guy I will say that I think has handled it well is Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
He's doing the best with a horrible, kind of a bad situation right now. I think he's done well with what he can. He hasn't thrown the player under the bus, but he's also made his frustrations known. I'm okay with that.
In the media, he's
you are allowed to be human. You can be frustrated. You can think this sucks, but you also can just talk about the situation and not the individuals, which I think Eddie Howe has done a good job with that.
Yeah. But handled this very professionally.
Yeah.
So that concludes this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Thanks to those watching on YouTube. Sorry, Twitter wasn't working. We'll get that sorted out hopefully next week. Thanks to everyone listening on the podcast platforms. And by the way, last 3 episodes are biggest ever. By the way, last few articles for Area 51 Sports Network, biggest ever. So thank you once again, as I tweeted out last night. Thank you for your support.
We really appreciate it.
I should also mention that, given we're getting more listeners, caps are getting exciting. If you or someone owns this business, a small business or whatever, we'd like a sponsor. Just reach out. Contact can be made. I'll put it on the episode description. Terminal City FC Podcast at gmail.com. We'd like to talk to you. Any kind of business who is looking for more publicity as well. We'd like that. So putting that out there. If you or anyone owns a business. So follow me on Twitter, JoshuaRay00, Nathan and Enderic. We're also on Blue Sky as well. Check out all our writing for Area 51 Sports Network surrounding Whitecaps, any soccer, football, and of course Canucks and hockey, which is coming up pretty soon. So we also do there's also cartoons on there. So if you like cartoons, check it out. So that concludes this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.